Hi everyone, my name is Moin and today I'm gonna do a post on basically two topics which I have merged together as one. The first one is that blobs and how to clean them using regex in ssis. And the second part which I have a little bit mixed in this post is the inside working of an ssis pipeline. How does the source works, the destination and the transformation. So let's get started onto that. I've already got integration studio bids studio loaded up, which is I'm assuming 2008 I think, but this shouldn't make a difference even if it is 2005. It should work fine. And I've got SQL Server 2008 as well. Yep, there you go. Okay, so I'm just gonna start off by using the studio and creating a table. And that should do it. Right, so let's insert some this is a news which I've been hearing for ages actually. Still I'm gonna go with it. That should do it actually. Now let's add some numbers to it. Any random sequence that you can think of. Right, that would be a lot unclean data. Now I'm just gonna add it to the table and run a select, and there we are with our data in there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go to my, let's have a look on the data again. That's quite unclean. I'm gonna go to my integration studio and I'm gonna create a new package. I'm gonna call it, let me rename this. Yes, use a sequence container. Just gonna expand this. Gonna be data for task. Gonna name it the same thing, dft. Go in there. I'm going to use another db source, which is going to be and we don't have a connection at this point, so I'm just gonna create a new one and use victory, which is already stored over there. Yes, the database is in victory. Database is victory actually. So we've got test blobs over here, and if I go right, and this is the data that we are gonna get. Click on OK. Columns, click on OK. And now what I'm going to use is my scripting component, which would take the data from here. This component would I'm gonna choose Visual Basic. Now that is a long story why I chose Visual Basic. It's because in SQ Server 2005 you got Visual Basic support only for some reason, I'm not sure why. So I'm just gonna go and use this, and I'm gonna click on my columns ID in this, gonna choose that read write as we are gonna write to the blob at a later stage as well. Gonna click on edit script task. Sorry if my English is a bit freaky these days because I'm having like very high temperature and my throat really hurts. Right, so I'm gonna import remind me, I mean we're just gonna use like regex. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to, whoa, I think the mic's gone. Nope, it's there. Right, I'm gonna that would do it. Define and now I'm gonna do some changes over here to my blob data. Spell it. Excuse me. First I'm gonna get the length, so next I'm going to convert it to, like, let's say a byte array. Then I'm gonna put the values of the blob over there in this array. And that should do it. Now what I'm going to do is basically I'm just going to convert this array into a text string so that we can apply the transformations to it. There's a very interesting part in this post which I'm gonna come to a little bit later on. First let me do this, and secondly, why would I use this? Let's say use this. Actually it's the same as 0 to 9. Okay, so then we're just gonna write back but first I need to reset the blob, otherwise it's gonna duplicate the data at the end of the blob if I don't use this. That would be the blob string which we are using. That's it. much. Right, so this should do it. If I close this and I click on OK, that will validate my script. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take an OLEDB command and I'm gonna pause this here. You must be wondering what I'm gonna do with this. Let's come back to it in a minute. Destination, I'm gonna go to my command and let me select the destination first. So where's the surprise still remains. But here use the same connection which I used before. Component property, click on OK. Now you must be thinking that I've deleted the table here. How is this component going to work? But for everyone's information, I'm going to come back on that. So if I click on there, go to my test blobs, click on OK, that should be fine. Okay, now what happens is that basically whenever you use ssis and you use data flow, what it does is it takes the data from the source and it keeps the data in a buffer where it can be processed, or in a disk or in memory, wherever it is. Then it releases the source and it goes on to a transformation. Think of this as once it's reading it, it will read it all at once, or if you've got a small data, then it's going to use this in terms of applying the transformations and then write to the destination. Or if you've got like chunks, like if I distribute here to 10,000 or something, then it will write the chunks in there, or it will commit after that part. So this thing, consider this as a loop, whereas consider this as source. So even if I use this in middle, it's not going to affect any of the data which is being read from here. Now you must be thinking I'm not sounding how much it's going to be like that, but no worries. Just let's see what have we got here. We've got like 13 rows with this text and numbers. If I run this, it's supposed to in theory replace all those 13 rows. Yes, it's worked fine. Let's see what results we get. Voila! See what I mean? So basically, if I run it again, nothing will happen actually. But just to let you show, there you are. Now the interesting part which was in this post is this bit, basically this only. How you can delete it on runtime, the data values which are not required, and while still they can be deleted from the source whereas they remain in the pipeline. And that's all for the post of today.